Hello, children. This week we'll talk about the Torah portion of Matot-Masei. This is the last portion in the book of Bamidbar, and it sums up the entire long journey of the Jewish people in the desert, preparing them to enter the land of Israel. The portion begins with Moshe speaking to the leaders of the tribes and teaching them important laws about vows. Do you remember what a vow is? It's a promise that a person makes to God. For example, if I do well on my test, I will give 100 shekels to charity. The most important rule is that anyone who makes a promise must keep it. It is forbidden to break a vow. But there are special rules for vows made by women. If a daughter makes a vow, her father can annul the vow on the day he hears about it. If he stays silent, the vow stands. A husband can annul his wife's vows on the day he hears about them. The vows of a widow or a divorced woman are fully valid. No one can annul them. Why do we have these rules? Because the Torah teaches us about the power we, as human beings, have with our words. After the laws of vows, God commands Moshe to do something important, to take revenge on the Midianites. Why take revenge on the Midianites? Do you remember what happened in the story of Balak? The Midianites plotted an evil scheme. They sent their women to lead the Jews astray and worship idols. Because of this, a terrible plague broke out, killing 24,000 people from the Jewish nation. Moshe chose 1,000 warriors from each tribe, a total of 12,000 soldiers, and Pinhas the priest led them into battle. What an amazing victory it was! The Jewish soldiers succeeded. They killed all 5 kings of Midian, and Bilam the wicked, who wanted to curse the Jewish people, was killed by the sword. They took captives and a great amount of spoils, and not a single soldier was killed. It was simply an incredible miracle. When they returned, Moshe was angry with them. Why? Because they left the Midianite women alive, the very women who had caused the great sin. Then Moshe commanded them to eliminate everyone who had tried to cause the Jews to sin. Afterwards, the soldiers were required to undergo a special purification from any contact with the dead, and to divide the spoils fairly, half to the warriors and half to the rest of the people. The tribes of Reuven and Gad said, "We want to stay here." The 2 tribes, Reuven and Gad, came to Moshe with a special request. They saw that in the area east of the Jordan, where they were, there was excellent land for grazing cattle and sheep, and these tribes had very large herds. They said to Moshe, "We want to receive our portion here, east of the Jordan River. Don't make us cross the Jordan." Moshe was very angry. He said to them, "Your brothers will go to war, and you'll just sit here?" But the tribes explained to Moshe, "No, we're not trying to run away from the war. Let us build cities here for our children and enclosures for our livestock, and we will go ahead of the entire nation into battle. We'll fight until every tribe receives its share, and only then will we return here." Moshe agreed, but on condition that they would go out to fight first, and when they won, they would return to their place. The tribes promised, and Moshe divided the land among them. The tribe of Reuven received land south of the Arnon River. The tribe of Gad got the area around Yazar and Gilead, and half of the tribe of Menashe received the region of Bashan and northern Gilead. This was the first arrangement for the division of the land of Israel. In the portion of Masei, the Torah lists the 42 places where the Jewish people camped. What a long journey! Here are some of the famous stations. First, Ramses, the starting point in Egypt. Second, Yam Suf, where the sea was miraculously split. Third, Marah, where the water was bitter and Moshe made it sweet. After summarizing the journey, God describes to Moshe the exact borders of the land of Israel. The southern border from the river of Egypt to the Dead Sea. The eastern border from the Jordan River to the Dead Sea. The northern border from Mount Hor to the entrance of Hamat. And the western border, the Great Sea, the Mediterranean Sea. God said, "This land will be divided among you by lottery." How will the division be carried out? Larger tribes will receive larger portions. Smaller tribes will receive smaller portions, but the location will be determined by lottery. It will be completely fair. God also decided who would be the people to divide the land: Eleazar the priest, Yehoshua, the new leader, and a leader from each tribe. A total of 10 leaders. Now, a special arrangement comes into play. The tribe of Levi does not receive a territory like the other tribes, but they still need a place to live. So what do? Each tribe gave the Levites 4 cities from its portion. Altogether, 48 cities throughout the land of Israel belong to the Levites. And the reason? Because the Levites and the priests are the teachers and spiritual guides of the Jewish people, and they need to be spread throughout the land to teach everyone Torah and the service of God. Among these 48 cities are 6 special cities of refuge. What are cities of refuge? These are places where someone who accidentally killed a person without intention can flee to. For example, if someone is chopping wood in the forest and his axe accidentally flies off and hits someone else, he can flee to a city of refuge. There, he will be protected from the family member of the person who was killed, who wants to take revenge. The Torah commands that the person who caused the death must stay in the city of refuge until the high priest dies. Only then can he return home safely. Why the death of the high priest? Because the high priest atones for all of Israel, and when he dies, it's like the end of an era and the beginning of something new. The book of Bamidbar ends, but the great journey of the Jewish people is just beginning. How are the final preparations for entering the land carried out? What does Moshe say to the nation? We'll tell you all about that in the next episode.